First brew day on the Grainfather. Just put in my stroke water of 20.5 degrees. It was at about 15 degrees. So I'm just going to heat that. And it's early morning, and while that's heating I'm going to go make a coffee and some breakfast. So I'll come back when we're about to mash in. So I'm using the chur kit that came with the Grainfather today, and it has an addition of calcium sulfate, 5 grams, so we'll just stick that in there while the mash water is heating and give that a stir. So 43 minutes to get up to mash temperature, and I'm just going to start mashing in. Here's a look at the base malt. So I've just mashed in, and two things I've noticed. This keeps falling off, so it's somewhere down in my mash, which is a bloody pain because you don't seem to be able to screw it on there. I don't know if it's a thread missing on mine or if this is something that happens to everybody. And the other thing is that this basket is not really that stable. I know it's supposed to sit on these lips here, but when you stir it, it moves around quite a bit. So I'm not sure if that's normal. To try and find this bloody brass thing now. If I can't find it, it's going to have to stay in there for the mash. And then I'm just going to have to, oh, there we go, look at that right there. Hot. Done. Successfully retrieved. So I'm going to mashed in, didn't lose a temperature. I actually turned the pump off because it will, I don't want to, I'm really paranoid about fennel, so I didn't want to overheat it. So I'm going to set her up for recircing. So it's all assembled for the mash. We've just dropped by 1 degree. So flick it onto mash, turn on to mash here, and turn on the pump. What have we got? It's very hard to see because it's just adjust that. Very hard to see through the steam top, but it seems to be pumping. No leaks. Once you know how to do this, it's not a problem. So we're recircing in there, sitting on 6. Top's broken on it already, which is a pain. The little lug that goes around here is broken, so it should look like that. Just have to do something about that. So hopefully it won't take long to get back up to 66 degrees, just as I say that. So we might have to put it back on normal for a bit to crank the element. Recircing's underway. How about that? Does that mean I've got a stuck mash already? I hardly push the plate down at all. I don't know if you can see that, but what's happening is it's basically flowing straight down that overflow pipe. So the temperature's dropping big time. Interesting. Oh well, it's all learning. First brew, what's the worst that can happen? The free kit that came with it could be buggered. So I'll come back soon. We're looking much better now, really clear. So I think I was just being a bit paranoid about the recircing. looking beautiful. So we've been going for 71 minutes. It's looking between 67 and 68, so it's keeping it fairly consistent. Just going to, in a minute or so, pull up the grain basket and then start sparging. Beautiful. Alright, so the mash is finished. It's looking beautifully clear, so I'm going to turn the pump off and turn the heater off, and I'm going to lift out the mash basket. It's going to be very bloody hot too. Hopefully that's sucked back enough. I'm going to get liquid everywhere. There we go. Oh, very hot. Look at that, beautiful, that colour is incredible. I'm very surprised, to be honest. I did have some doubts about this system at first, but it's looking pretty cool. So here we go. Hopefully I do everything right, because I'm going to look like a dickhead if I don't do it right. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, it's fairly heavy. So I'll just let this drain, and I'm heating up my sparge water. I haven't got an urn yet, so I'm just heating it up on a pot, which is, I've left it a bit late and it's not quite ready. But I have the urn for next time. So I'll just start the timer now. While that's draining, I'll put it back on to boil, and we'll see how long it takes to get a boil going. So here we go with the first 5 litres of sparge water. Should be using something a bit better than this, because the pour's a little bit too vigorous. Keep the sparge rate going. I think about 1 centimetre above the plate is what we've recommended. So I'll carry on doing this. Shouldn't take long, hopefully. I'm still sparging, but talking about looking like a dickhead. The whole point of having a Grainfather is so that you can ramp and soak. So ramp the temperatures up. I didn't do a mash out, so I was too busy worrying about getting my sparge water ready with a kettle and a pot on the stove. And yeah, so it's not going to be a problem, but don't forget to do a mash out next time. So sparge just finishing now, draining through, and we're almost up to 84 degrees. So by the time that's drained through, we'll just about have a boil on. So I'm fairly impressed so far. Everything has just been too easy. So I've just hit boil, and I turned around to get the camera and just about got a boil over. So I've never had one before. But it took 45 minutes to get to the boil, but 25 minutes of that was sparging. So, and I sparged pretty quickly, so pretty happy with that. Pretty good looking boil there too. So So 90-minute boil with hop additions. Here we go. Hop additions at 60 minutes. Just Pacific Jade for bittering. 10-minute. We've got Zealand Cascade, Motueka, Nelson Sauvin. And at flame out we've got 60 grams of New Zealand Cascade, 20 of Rewaka, 20 of Nelson Sauvin. All nicely packaged. Really impressed by the way Mangrove Jacks have put this kit together. The boil's still going on and going to boil for 90 minutes. Drop the chiller in there and it's gone down to 98 degrees, just come up to 99, so I'll add a couple of minutes on the boil. Foamy greenness. So we've got the chiller is sanitizing and the boiling wort. We're back to boiling again, and I'm recircing from the bottom back up through here past the chiller, so the chiller will go on in about 2 minutes. I've got an assistant brewer in the corner who's going to do that for me, and I'll add the last hop addition just as the chiller goes on. It's a lot of hops, 90 grams worth. So this is going to be a hoppy beer, I'd say. So we're just about to start the chiller up, and I'm going to dump these 0-minute hops in there. Get a bit of foamage going on. Turn the element off, and we're now cooling. So as I said, we're pumping it out the bottom, through here, round in there and past the chiller, so hopefully we'll be dropping fairly quickly. Bit of a problem with the chiller, but we're chilling now, chilling and pumping, hops everywhere. It's pretty hoppy, so we're dropping fairly quickly. We've been chilling for about 30 seconds and we're down to 90. So down to 41 degrees after not even 7 minutes. Starting to clear nicely. And I'm catching the hot water out there for cleaning. 14 minutes to 24 degrees, so we're just about there. I'm just stirring slightly, just trying to do this one-handed now. And stirring it to try and get more of a counterflow effect going. So it was 15 minutes and 10 seconds to get it chilled, so I've moved the pump across. So I'm ready to start pumping soon. I've given it a bit of a whirlpool and I'll leave it for a minute or so to try and settle out and then pump it across. Probably can't see this, but it's clearing quite quickly. It's just whether I can be patient enough for it to clear right down and then pump across. So it's been 30 minutes since the boil finished and took 15 minutes to chill, and I've had this sitting there for 15 minutes to clear after whirlpooling. So I'm going to start the pump up. This is either going to be a complete disaster or it'll be brilliant. So take that off. Transfer it in there. Yeah, still quite a bit of gunk coming through. But, so I probably needed to let it sit for a bit more. Interestingly, it looks like it might be a bit gummed up down there. And all I'm getting is trub. So maybe I should have transferred across with my siphon. Yeah, all I'm getting is trub. This has kind of been a disaster then. Take two, I'm taking it from the top rather than the bottom where all the trub is, and it's nice and beautifully clear. So I think the problem was that this is such a hoppy beer, there's so many hops in it and it's gummed up around the filter. So not a complete disaster, although it's going to be interesting when I get down to the bottom and have to siphon uphill, which is impossible. So I'll come back in a couple of minutes when I've transferred. Some transferring, and I've got 15 litres transferred over, and then I've hit the trub again coming. Oh, you can't see, I need to help if I put it in the right place. Starting to hit the trub, and that beautifully clear wort is not as beautifully clear. So I'm starting to get the trub problems that everyone else has mentioned. See if you can see in there. That's a massive amount of trub. So no wonder the poor thing blocked up. So it's a bit of an issue that I'm not that happy with. So I'm going to have to try a hot bag next time for sure, because I certainly don't want this amount of crap in my fermenter. And no wonder the poor old pump couldn't handle it. See, look at that trub, and I'm just sucking it all in now. So we've got 17 litres in there. I'm going to pitch the yeast. A little bit annoyed, probably partly my own fault because I might have lost a couple of litres to my failed pumping experiment. So it would have ended up to about 19 post boil. I have post boil about, I don't know if you can see that, about 24 litres. So I'll be able to tell how much I did actually lose in a second. So I've lost 4 litres to trub. I hate that word trub, I'd rather call it trub. And it's pretty hoppy and slushy mess, but this is why my experiment didn't work, because it's blocked up with hops. So definitely hop residue the problem, so a hop bag will fix that next time. So as I said, I've got in here, I've pitched the yeast, 15, 16, 17 litres, 4 in there, and which is 21, so I lost 2 litres to trub, 2 litres to my failed experiment, so I'll give this a bit of a clean out. That is just terrible. That comes off. Let's get that out and have a look. Look how thick. Where are we? I've got to take the zoom out. That's unbelievable. So, lesson learnt for next time. Hot bag will reduce that.